Good evening, welcome to the latest special show from Last Bell Boxing. Today, I'm really excited to introduce Brendon from Frank Bruno Foundation. Good evening, Brendon.
Good evening, Carl. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thank you for coming along, much appreciated. And thanks for giving us a bit of time to talk about the great work you're doing at the minute at the foundation.
Cheers.
So where we'll start is, let's start at the beginning, shall we? So how was it that you come to be involved in the Frank Bruno Foundation?
Basically, what it was, I got a phone call from Frank Bruno's PA at the time. They've been looking for these in different places. Got to a last stage, and they're getting let down at the last stage. And I was councillor at the time as well on the Northampton Borough Council. So, I had access to a few empty buildings that we could possibly, lease to them. So I thought obviously somebody was winding me up at the time as well, thinking it was a bit of a hoax because you don't see someone like Frank Bruno. But so we arranged to meet on a Thursday afternoon. It was back in April 2019. And he said, I've walked around the corner and the big man was there. And it was like, oh my word, it's true. So obviously nobody's pulling my leg, it's serious. So I went, showed him around a couple of buildings, showed him the one at Stannon's Barn, which is the one we've got now. He loved the building, needed a lot of work done on it.
Yeah.
But, with people that we both know, we got a lot of help. And when we agreed to take it on, we got people we knew into the building to have a look, see what sort of work it will need doing. Then by the November, they'd signed the contract. So we'd agreed the terms and everything, which the council are really good. They give it a peppercorn, so they haven't got paid much rent on the place, as long as they keep the upkeep on the inside. So then basically November 2019, we got the building, got the builders in. We had 32 different companies from around Northampton giving their time for free and material for free, which worked out at roughly about 85 grand, in material and labour, which was fantastic. And people say out there, there's not a lot of generosity out there. I can assure you there's loads out there. And, the people that helped us, need a real big shout out, which for all the work they've done for us. But again, I did it all for free, and we were so close to opening in March 2020. But obviously COVID kicked in. We were 10 days away from finishing all the work.
Wow.
Then, of course, you can't, because the guys are all doing it for free, you can't demand them to come back when restrictions started lifting. You've got to give them time to earn a bit of money again and get back out on the ladder. So they came back in November and finished it off for us, and we were ready for January opening. But obviously went into lockdown before Christmas again. So it was a bit of a setback, but we decided to do one-on-one sessions with kids and stuff like that, which went really well. And we've been doing that since October, one-to-one session. And now we just started the group sessions the last 2 weeks. So, things have gone from, steady to mega busy.
So you've got a grand old job title there, Brendon, haven't you?
Indeed. Yeah.
I don't know whether to bow down to you or what. I'm not quite sure what to do, to be honest. But what does that look like day to day then, Brendon? What does a chief operations officer get up to?
Basically, because we've got two sides.
Make yourself sound busy, Brendon. Make yourself sound busy.
Mate, I don't have to do that. I can tell you now. It was just me realistically working on it for the last year or two, trying to get it up and running. Because obviously Frank doesn't live in Northampton either. Yeah. So come up at least, he comes up once or twice a week anyway, just to have a look round, have a chat with us, make sure things are all right. And if we need anything, he always tries to help out. So basically what my role is to look at employing people, getting the courses up and running, looking for all the paperwork, a lot of paperwork at the moment, because a lot of it's policies and procedures, because it's mental health and well-being. So it's quite you have to be really strict on that one. So there's a lot of top policies you have to follow. A lot of meetings with various departments like NHS, Barclays have been getting on board, the University of Northampton are getting on board. So we've got lots and lots of meetings going on at the minute. And then hopefully, trying to sell the courses as well on top of that. And then on top of that, we've got the boxing club, which, I'm a director of as well. So we're, it's chocker, mate, honestly.
I understand you're holding open days for amateur club, aren't you, over the next couple of weeks?
We are, mate. Yes, we've got our first one.
I've done my homework, you see, Brendon. I've done my homework.
Oh, you haven't you, mate? I'm impressed, Carl. We've got so we're having an open day this weekend. We've got quite a number of schools that So we've got Cook No Primary School have been really good with us, helped us out with loads of stuff. They've got about 30 kids coming down. But for the whole day, we've got 120 coming in on Saturday this week, and about the same again the following Saturday for the trial. And we're going to try and make a bit of fundraise as well, try and raise some funds for the boxing club by doing tea and cake. So, hopefully that'll bring a few quid in, but the kids can try it for nothing. And if they like it, we're going to start the first sessions officially on the 7th of June.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like from the video clips that I've seen, and obviously you got a lot of press release, be it Sunday Mirror, be it BBC News, you're doing really well with awareness. Yeah. I assume the people in Northampton are rallying around this scheme, around the foundation.
Yeah, like I said, 32 companies, just over 85 worth of time and labour. We've got residents. Yes, it's just like, it says exactly, especially in these difficult times, mate. It's the generosity from the people locally have been huge, but not just Northampton, far afield as well. People donating money to us to make sure we can get up and running. Local councillors in the area, they've been chipping in money as well. Yeah. So there's a lot of goodwill out there at the moment, and we're very grateful for everything they've done for us.
And I understand that Northampton's just the beginning, isn't it? You're looking to expand across the country. Is the plan?
We are indeed. We're hopefully London next. That will be shortly. We've got one of the council leaders coming up in a couple of weeks to have a chat with us about possibility of moving into a building down there. So that one's moving pretty rapidly at the minute. We did have a 5-year plan. That's now about 18 months. So it's going to be a quite busy period over the next 18 months.
Yeah. And I mean, I really like the hashtags that you got associated, like knockout stigma and let's clear the cloud. Yeah. Obviously, mental health's massive at the minute, isn't it? With people being locked down, etc., etc. So I really do applaud the work you're doing, you and your foundation. Great effort. So you've also got some decent ambassadors.
Yeah, we've got a few little ones there. Yeah. Me and having Frank is our number one man. Former world champ. Obviously Tyson Fury, current world champ. Another former champ, world champion, Ricky Hatton. We've got Martin Ford. I mean, if people don't know what he's like, have a look at him.
Yeah, he's a unit. Yeah,
big lad. Yeah, he's a lovely bloke. He's on a program at the minute, the Nevers on Sky, so you can get a gist of how big he is on that one. But he's also in Fast and Furious 9 that's just come out. We also got Kerry Katona, who's one of our ambassadors as well. So we've got quite a number of big names there. We've all been helping us trying to get it up and running.
Yeah. I mean, there's some names there, isn't there, Brendon? Top draw. So, anything else that you'd like? I mean, all the links will be in the description to all your initiatives, Brendon. I'll put them all there. Is there anything else you want to mention before we move on to other things boxing related?
No, I mean, people get a chance, just have a look at the website. I mean, it's a bit out of date at the moment. We're working on that one anyway with the University of Northampton about improving that. We're also looking at putting an app together as well, so people can just download the app and have a look at what we're doing. Even if you live a little bit further out and you want to come and have a look down there.
I did not.
Yeah, you're only down the road, mate. So
yeah.
But if you ever pass it, mate, just come in and have a look, and we'll put the kettle on. We all love the visitors.
Sounds like a plan. One thing I would like to mention is what great case studies they were on that BBC breakfast slot. Then Stefano, Danny, Luce. What a great slot that was.
Yeah, no, we've got some great kids there, mate. I mean, they're youngsters and they've been struggling big time, especially with lockdown as well. So they've had a real tough 12 months, like most people have. But these youngsters really want to turn a corner, and they have been massively. Little Joe, who was on there in the paper, his behaviour's improved no end since we've been looking after him for the last 12 weeks. Yeah. Stephen, he's off. Hopefully, he's off to. He's been training one of the top championships clubs near you with your name on there, mate. He's been training up there for the last week or so. So and he's hopefully off to Italy soon to have a trial out there as well.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, we've been putting him through his paces, getting him fit. He'd lost his little bit of fitness and a bit of confidence, so we've helped him build that up. We've got another one, Pharrell. He's our young ambassador. He's a real good lad. He comes at the gym most nights now training, but he wants to give back to the kids as well. So, because he went through a bit of behaviour issues, and he'll tell you that for himself. He wasn't a good lad. Now he's turned the corner. he wants to give back. He's only 17 and he still wants to give back now, which is great. You know, and then Lucy, I mean, she was amazing. You know, she'd lost 6 stone.
Wow.
She's been working constantly. You know, she's really, really turned a corner. You can see her professionalism as well, considering she's never been in front of a camera or done interviews with papers before.
Very good.
So, certain confidence they've got since we've been trying to help them. So,
yeah,
what my coach James Wright, he's my main man on the mental health and well-being side. He's doing a fantastic job, and Lisa is the nurse that we've got there, mental health nurse. She does a brilliant job in the background there as well, making sure they're all happy. And
I do think James might like the camera a little bit though from the videos that I saw on Facebook.
Yeah.
But
James I've got a cracking face for the radio. He's got a face for the camera. So,
no comment on that one, Brendon. I think I might be in your club though. That's what the missus says. So brilliant initiative. So a couple of questions that got posed from our live show that happens normally on a Thursday at 9 o'clock. One question was, how hands-on is Frank regarding the foundation? You mentioned he comes up once or twice a week. But the question basically, Brendon, is how hands-on is he?
Very hands-on. Yeah, I mean, I speak to him every other day about the programs, about how we're working. Like I said, he comes up at least once, twice a week. He gets involved with the residents around the area as well. Stops and has a cup of tea with some of the old girls that we've got down the road there. I mean, one of the very first times he ever popped in, he sat with the kids on the wall outside the shop, had a chat with them about boxing, got them on side straight away. So, very hands-on. And the day we got the ring delivered, he's in the van getting all the kits out, putting it in the gym, all that sort of thing. So people think he's just sitting around not helping. He's just the name. He's not, I can assure you. He's basically the residents around there will tell you exactly the same. They've seen him constantly over the last 12 months. And, they love him and he loves them. So it's great.
Nice to hear, isn't it? It's nice to hear that he rolls his sleeves up and just gets stuck in, And the next question was, is there any, regarding your expansion plans, and this might be a bit early, Brendon, but I'll put it to you anyway. Yeah. Is there any plans to go up north?
Yeah, we're working on some of that at the moment. Obviously, very early stages. London, obviously, going to be our next target, purely for simple, because Frank's from London.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be down that end, but we are starting to talk to various councils up north at the moment. I mean, our CEO, Nick Smith, he's in, he's got a massive corporate background and he's well in there with a lot of companies and a lot of councils that he's done work with. So he's doing all that sort of work at the initial stage. And then obviously I come in a little bit later when we've more or less got the agreement and I can put everything else in place. So things are, you'll see us up north at some point, maybe two. But I think we could have some announcements next year on that one.
Yep, and then we're moving on to more general topics about Frank Bruno now. So I think the viewers wanted to test your knowledge a little bit on Frank by some of these questions.
Go on.
So the first one was, what would you consider to be Frank's best fight in his career?
Best fight? It's got to be Oliver McCall. Yeah, it's got to be Oliver.
When he won the belt?
Yeah, when he won the belt. I mean, I was probably one of many that was hugging Oliver McCall fictitiously in the front room, trying to hold on to him in the 12th round. Frank had 20 minutes. I still remember it clear as day. I even dropped to my knees when he won it. It was an amazing feeling. He's a national hero to a lot of people, and he's such a nice guy as well.
It was a better boxer than people gave him credit for. You got to remember, he was in a very tough era, wasn't he, Brendon?
Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. You had some Oliver McCall. You had so much Bone Crusher Smith. I mean, I mean, you could go on and on with the heavyweight division. And the way he came back every single time, and eventually got there to win that WBC belt. You got to take your hat off to him. He was an amazing guy, amazing character, and the courage he showed. That's why people loved him. And they still do.
And this next one is a cracker. So just get yourself. You've had a coffee after work.
Okay.
Where would you put Frank Bruno in the current British heavyweight scene in terms of ranking?
Jesus Christ.
Good one, that.
It is, yeah. So
does he beat Fiora?
See, we've got to be careful because Fury's one of our ambassadors as well. So we've got to be a bit careful.
Okay, let's decline to answer that one then. Let's stick to where you put him.
I'd say there was 3 of them in the top 1. So with AJ and Fury and Bruno.
Yeah. That was very diplomatic of you. Very, very good answer. So another question that was posed that I won't ask is, who do you think is going to win out of AJ and Fiora?
Yeah, do you know, I get asked this all the time because obviously,
if it happens,
Tyson, if it happens, you know, I mean, it'd be a great fight, probably one of the best fights we'll see. But you know, I've followed AJ since he was youngster, through the amateur ranks, watching his progress and everything, and then obviously through the pro game as well. You know, and he is a great guy, and I do like AJ. But then I've sort of grown to like Tyson as well. So I think over the last few years, when he's come out about his mental health and everything else that's happened to him, sort of grown on me as well. And now he's obviously an ambassador as well. We tend to like to follow what he's doing. But yeah, it's a tough one to call, mate. I think it could go either way, that one. Really could.
The thing with Tyson, in my humble opinion, I'm not really qualified to give my view, but I will. I think he made a few silly comments when he was younger, which we all do. We all do that. Fame was thrusted upon him very quickly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But what a cracking fella now. I've met him at a meet and greet in Birmingham. He's the most humble guy you're likely to meet. And I think he's turned his PR right round. I think what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Brendon, where he's come from to where he is, you've got to be some kind of character to be able to do that, haven't you? You know?
Definitely, yeah. You've got to take your hat off to the guy. You know, he's a phenomenal boxer. He's been through the mill in his life. You know, like you said, everybody makes mistakes, say stupid things in their time. You know, he's no different. So, you know, I'll take my hat off to him for what he's done so far.
And
but the same with that. I like him as well. You know, he's been through the youngster as well, like Frank did in his youth. You know, he was clear yesterday on. You know, he was in which he wasn't proud of, but he turned his life around.
Yeah,
I see that in a lot of guys. That's how they turn.
And AJ gets a bit of rough treatment, don't he, regarding his boxing skills? I think that's unfounded a little bit as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, they knock him now because he lost to Ruiz in that first fight. But I mean, that was a sucker punch. He got caught. He knew that, but he come back and he showed his boxing skills in the rematch. You know, so he showed his class act.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I mean, if it can go ahead, mate, it's going to be one hell of a fight.
Well, we should be very proud, shouldn't we? 2 British fighters, all the marbles. But I've got a doubt that it'll go ahead if I'm honest, Brendon. I think Wilder will get his fight.
Which I think is on really makes Tyson will beat him again.
Yeah, I think he'll beat him before he steps in the ring again. I think the mind games will come in.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next question then, Brendon. Obviously, Frank Bruno is your favourite boxer. We've established that, so we can part that one.
Yeah.
Who else? In terms of boxers, who else did you like growing up?
Well, it's really weird because Ricky Hatton was always one of my favourites, especially that fight. That Costa Stu fight was probably one of the best I've ever seen. But then you've got Tommy Hearns as well, another great fighter. Marvin Hagler, another great fighter I used to love watching.
So, Brendon, normally you one or the other with Hearns or Hagler. So, which one are you?
I love them both, mate. But if we're going to out of two enemy fighters, as you would say, between Eubank and Ben, I was always a big Ben fan. So, you know, I'd go for Nigel Benn as well. I loved him. The way he went forward all the time. He's always aggressive.
Warrior.
Knockout punch. You know, proper boxer, mate, as I've called
him. Yeah.
I weren't really a great Eubank fan. So I always wanted to see Nigel win. But,
what about Nazim? What's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, what a cracking fighter he was, mate. You know, I mean, the guy could skip around that ring, jab and move all the time, knockout punches all the time. You know, what a great lad he was, great fighter. Unfortunately, you know, obviously his career's in the finish now, but
yeah,
you know, he bit of razzmatazz as well, mate. Give it enjoyable.
His foot, you know. Wow, his footwork.
Oh, it's amazing, mate. Yeah, he's so fast and quick.
Yeah.
Right, bloke.
And then we've got a bit of a long-running feud on our show. 2 of us lads are from Nottingham and 2 are from Newcastle.
Right.
So the debate is around Kelzaghi versus Froch. Now, obviously, we've got an alliance with Mr. Frotch. And long debate is who would have won if they're both in the prime. So what are your thoughts, Brendon?
Oh, good. That one, mate. I mean, I like Frotchy. I think he's a great fighter. Watch many of his fights. I'll probably go for Carl Frotch, actually. Yeah, I mean, Calzaghe, don't get me wrong. Calzaghe was a great fighter. You know, he went undefeated, so you can't knock him for that one. But Frotchy, there was something about him. Always about him, I like watching. And
he would have got to him. He would have got to him, Brendon, wouldn't he? He would have got to him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got the England-Wales character there as well, mate. So, you know, being an Englishman like myself, I've got to go for Frotchy, really. Yeah.
So like there's a long-running dispute between us lot on the show. With even one of my counterparts, Andy from Nottingham, picking Calzaghe. I'm the only one who goes for Frotch.
Yeah, I think Frotchy might have done him, mate, in his prime.
Definitely. Yeah, granite chin.
Yeah, I've got you.
Yeah. So, Brendon, this will go out on the channel on Friday. Okay, I'll post it Friday. I'll send the link over to you. Really appreciate your time. Hope we can do this again sometime, a bit further down the road.
That'd be great.
Northampton's not far from me, so like I've said, I might when things have calmed down a little bit regarding social distance, I might bring the lads down and we can have banter.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Yeah, I mean, we're quite fortunate in Northampton. We've got some great boxing clubs and that, mate. So, I mean, 2 box just down the road from us where Kieran Conway fights. He fought the other night in the Canelo fight. He was on the
undercard. Done well for himself.
Played down in the 9th, which is a shame. I thought he got him then. But he'll come back bigger and stronger, mate. You know, it was a great experience for him. I spoke to him the other week. Well, his coaches, James and Alex. And they said, you know, the experience is once in a lifetime.
Great learning by,
brilliant. I mean, it's only going to make him stronger. I mean, don't forget, he was fighting another cracking lad, you know, bronze medalist at the Olympics. So he's no muppet. He was fighting.
And what's your thoughts on Billy Joe and Canelo before I let you go? Because my views are that Billy Joe would bang in that fight before that injury.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, I thought I'd probably. Billy Joe was just behind by 1 round.
Yeah.
Billy Joe just started coming back into it. But I mean, the punch that come up at the right time. The hand was coming up as his head was going down. You know, it was a cracking punch. You know.
Did he get too relaxed, do you think, Brendon?
I think at that stage there, he just took it off the ball for a second, which you can't do against someone like Canelo. He's just class act.
He dropped his hands a little bit, didn't he, and started feeling comfortable. Yeah, but go on, Brendon.
I was just going to say, mate, the trouble is he was on top. He was more confident as the rounds were going on. So that's probably why he dropped it a little bit. Didn't think about it. But, like, you know, someone like Canelo, mate, you can't afford to do that against a class act like him.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on other shows because I go on a few shows in Canada. And they didn't give Billy a round. And I said, you guys must have been sleep deprived because, you know, for me, he would bang in that fight.
Yeah, I had him 1 round behind at that point. I thought with 4 rounds still to go, I thought he can get that back easy.
Don't you think a lot of Canelo's work was hitting the gloves?
Yeah.
You know,
defense was great from Billy Joe Saunders.
The challenge you've got, isn't it, in Texas, is every time Canelo throws a punch, the crowd go crazy. So the judges are sat there thinking, you know, I think the influence of judges. So, I mean, it'll be very interesting. Very interesting. So, just finally, if it does end up being Usyk versus AJ and Fiora versus Wilder, give me your winner in both fights.
Well, Tyson will definitely win against Wilder, and AJ will definitely win his fight. So, I think I don't think it'll be this year now that them two are going to fight each other. I think we're probably looking at, mate, hopefully March next year. That'd be an ideal sort of time. Yeah. They'll both get their fight before September. And they've got plenty of a big build at them for the biggie. And hopefully we'll get it in this country rather than in Saudi Arabia, which would be amazing, you know.
It'd be great.
Probably the biggest fight GB's ever had.
Yep. Okay, guys, all the descriptions to all Frank Bruno Foundation and Boxing Club will be in the link below. Brendon, thank you very much for your time. Really do appreciate it. We'll catch up again soon. That's it for this Frank Bruno Foundation show. See you next time. Cheers, Brendon.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.